Welcome, eerie robots, red shirts with sad backstories, and red herring executives, to the 282nd episode of an Unearthly podcast, streaming live on the 21st of November 2018, and featuring Kerblam, written by Pete McTighe and starring Jodie Whittaker as the Doctor, Tosin Cole as Ryan Sinclair, Mandip Gill as Yasmin Khan, and Bradley Walsh as Graham O'Brien. Although Kerblam plus Jodie Whittaker's accent actually comes out to Kablam. But I don't know.
Kerblam, kerblam, meh.
I am Bill Sylvie, the Man in Black, and with me are Mad Matt Winchell,
I punched a spider 3 times to try and kill it today.
Randy Ronson McCulloch,
Good evening.
and Tim the Enchanter Sheridan.
Hello, everyone.
Thomas Fireheart is away for the week, although ironically it's not Thanksgiving because he lives in the land down under. But he has sent us his thoughts and prayers that we can read out later. Not the prayers so much; that part was a joke.
Ah.
Yeah. I forgot what he's up to, but I knew he told us at the end of last week he had some business.
I knew he flew a few I don't know if states away, but a few cities away or something.
Man, can you imagine, I mean, Australia is the only country that is also a continent. And, it's kind of hard for me to wrap my brain around the sheer size of Australia.
Even more for me, the fact that the population is in basically 5 cities.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's about it.
With just a scattering of people, isolated ranchers.
And they're pretty much pretty much almost all the population is on the coast. Not even like the United States where the majority are, but like 99% of the population of Australia are on the coast.
Yeah, I mean, you're talking to two non-coasters here.
Mm-hmm.
The closest we get to the coast is the Mississippi River, which is a big-ass river, but doesn't count as an ocean.
Nope.
Nope.
Oh, I suppose you could think of the Great Lakes that way, too, but still also doesn't count as an ocean.
Still not an ocean.
Mhm.
Just a really big pond.
Really big pond that you have to worry about if it actually does freeze over, because that's rare and horrible.
It happens, though. Superior more than Michigan, but yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, we are really off topic.
Yeah.
Off topic.
Off
Topic.
what?
Topic. Topic.
Topic.
Topic. Top with ick at the end. Please enter into dictionary.
Yes.
Someone has
Good.
issues.
Well, let's get
Someone's
back.
brain has been worrying about 50 things today, so I was a little bit distracted. But
Are they all on the menu?
they're mostly on the menu tomorrow, yes. You got to remember, Erin doesn't cook unless she absolutely has to, and most of her ideas of cooking is throwing stuff in the microwave.
Ugh.
I'm the domestic.
From
the one-
from September through May, that's also my idea of. Well, actually, from September through May, my idea of cooking is Grubhub.
Well, okay.
In the summer, I'm a little more adventurous.
No, I mean, for a basic default meal, taking like burritos or something and just chucking them in the microwave is fine. But when, you want to, I tried when Erin had evenings off to at least have 1 to 2 meals a week that were hand-cooked sit-down meals. Generally, it was like Friday and Sunday. In particular, Fridays, I would make shrimp and rice, and, it was, a good adventuresome night with cooking. I do it less now because Erin, makes her breakfast in the morning, and then she usually leaves to go get a ride to work, so there's not really time for a sit-down meal. But tomorrow's Thanksgiving, so yes, I try to cook. I'm actually going to try to cook. The thing is, we're cooking turkey, and that's not my area of expertise. I've never had a turkey I've been 100% happy with. 90%, yes. 100%? No. So every time we get
if you're 100% satisfied, then you're not a true artist.
Oh, I've had meals I'm 100% satisfied with. That I just started making it and everything went right. Turkey's not one of them. And ham, which I make at Christmas, is one of those things that's just basically fire and forget. Oh, gee, the only thing I could have got wrong is I might have forgotten to take the tinfoil off the top at the end or something like that. It's not going to kill it. Turkey, though, is very delicate. It's so easy to get wrong. For it to come out too dry, or if it's not cooked enough, actually make you sick. So I'm always worried. And my main problem I wind up with turkey is the fact that it'll be crispy on the outside and almost not done on the inside. Well, almost barely the correct temperature on the inside.
My response to a dry turkey is smother it in gravy anyway.
Very true.
Yeah, I'm a little more anal retentive on it. Anyway, on tonight's show, we've got news and birthdays, geek talk. Well, no, we don't have any geek talk tonight, I don't think. No, news and birthdays, our episode summary, our review, our final thoughts, and our ratings. I think we're all eager to get this over with as soon as possible so we can move on to our various stuff to do tomorrow.
Back to house cleaning.
Trying to put myself to sleep so I can get up at the crack of fucking dawn. Oh, joy. All right.
So, birthdays. On the 18th of November, we have the birthday of Stephen Moffat, writer from 2005 to 2009, showrunner and executive producer from 2010 to 2017. Also known as that bastard Moffat, he turned 57.
I picked a picture of him that made him look confused.
Next is the birthday of Paul Jericho, who played the Castellan in Arc of Infinity and the Five Doctors in 1983. Being a Time Lord in more than one episode, he qualifies for the list.
Mm-hmm.
He turned 70.
And he's still acting from what I saw.
19 November saw the birthday of Catherine Kelly, who played Miss Quill in Class. She turned 39. On the same day is the birthday of William Russell, who played Ian Chesterton, 1963 to 69. And I forgot to write down his birthday. I'm a bad boy.
Oh, how many years?
Yeah, I forgot.
Looks like it would be ending in a 5. Oh no, wait, that's not the year he was born. That's the year he started playing Ian.
He is 94.
Oh my god. He's about a year away from my grandma that just passed away.
Oh yeah, William Russell is. I mean, he's well into his good run.
His age is probably why you see less and less stories with him as the main actor.
Well, yeah.
I mean, he's a year younger than Stan Lee, who we just lost. So, yeah, I'm not expecting him to be. I'm expecting that to be in the news, like any time in the next few years. Anyway, today we have the birthday of Malcolm Hulke, who was a writer from 1967 to 73, and also wrote a great deal of the Target novelizations. He would have been 94, same as William Russell, but died in 1979 at the age of 54. And that's it for birthdays. We move on to our episode news.
Yes. UK overnight figures for Kerblam are in. According to the BBC, it was watched by 5.93 million people on TV in the UK, a rise of about 0.16 million from last week. This made it the 4th most popular show of the evening. ITV's I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here took top ratings with 11.03 million, followed by Strictly Come Dancing, The Results, with 8.99 million viewers, and David Attenborough's Dynasties, which had 6.13 million. Doctor Who managed to get back in the top 10 for the week, barely at number 10.
Think about that. The top watched thing had 11.03 million. That's over twice what Doctor Who brought in for ratings. and it's another one of these celebrity reality TV shows.
I still don't know why these things get watched as much as
And
they do.
and people say that Americans have the market cornered on reality TV.
I actually think the UK is even worse now.
Yeah.
By the way, the entire population of the UK is 66.02 million. So that
it's
means
still
a
only sixth of the population watched.
of everybody in the UK was watching this show.
Blech. I feel sad for the population already, but yeah.
That statistic goes up when you think about the people that don't actually pay for a TV license.
Mm-hmm.
Just watch stuff on their computer. I know a lot of people that do that modernly. So yeah. All right, moving on.
All right, so we have the Barb's official 4-panel ratings for Demons of the Punjab. Officially, 7.48 million people watched it, down about 0.28 million from the previous week. 7.23 million watched the episode on TV. An additional 139,000 watched on their PC. 61,000 watched on a tablet, and 51,000 on a smartphone. Puts Doctor Who at the 8th most watched program of the week, with an AI rating of 80, which is a bit below average for Doctor Who.
Now, I checked, all of those numbers were down from the previous week, both the TV, the PC, tablet, smartphone.
And that's in the previous week was the episode we weren't very fond of, right?
Yeah, and that goes to show that you have a bad episode, your ratings suffer.
Yeah.
And this is kind of related to a discussion we had off panel. I think it was last week, basically talking about the fact that ratings in terms of viewing are massively up this season from previous, which indicates possibly a lot of new viewers, which might also indicate a bit of a reason for AI to be a little lower, because people tend to AI ratings tend to be higher for more established shows with a more established audience. And that might also mean people are a little more fickle in terms of whether or not they come back the following week.
All right.
All right. Also, we have some photo galleries for the Witchfinders. If I'm not mistaken, we already had the blurb last week, right?
Yeah, at least as well as we can. They didn't actually have anyone didn't really release the summary of the
I remember
trailers. We have
Summer
announced
naming
them
a king.
before in the week, so it's not that important. But we have 2 different links with a bunch of photos.
And they are both cult box, and they are both slowing down my Chrome.
There's not a lot to say about these photos. I mean, they're basically all look to be historical drama pictures. I've seen the one at the very bottom of the first link of apparently the Doctor bobbing for apples, but the rest of it all.
The first photo looks a little supernatural. Like their position looks almost like they're being hanged, but I don't think they are, so maybe they're like levitating.
I think those might be the Mud Witches. I'm not sure. Apparently, those are the villains, from what what little I know.
Yeah, they're not levitating either. They're just standing there in awkward positions.
They're about ready to break into Thriller.
There's a drowning photo, so I'm guessing that we're going to see the water test conducted.
Possibly, yeah.
The
an old woman is in the dunking seat in one of the
one
pictures.
that Monty Python parodies.
Yes, I know. I would love to see them trying to get out. If they wind up that happening to the Doctor and the others, I think it'd be hysterical if she tried to get out of it by applying the logic from Holy Grail.
Speaking of that Holy Grail scene, there is some sort of waterfowl. I can't tell
in one
if
of the
it's
pictures.
if there's swans, geese, ducks, or what. King James has a map.
Heading back down again. Yeah, it's hard to tell. I don't think they're normal ducks, but they're probably geese or swans.
Mm-hmm.
Most likely geese.
I think geese. That seems to be typical for Britain. Either that, or they are just.
They're
domestic
definitely
ducks.
not Canadian geese, but this is set in Britain, and I have no idea what they're.
Also, they're not
Wow.
normal American ducks, but then again, this is not set in America, so.
Yeah.
Uh,
If it were Salem, I'd be able to give a better commentary on the type of.
I think,
Birds.
speaking of which, speaking of Monty Python, I think when they mentioned a duck, they did pull up a white duck, so that is possibly what they are.
Reasonable. Maybe
duck.
the Doctor will make a Monty Python reference. Ah, yes, and I see later on that same image mentioning Mudwitch.
Yep.
And the Doctor bobbing for apple.
Yep.
Absolutely. Oh, good Doctor.
Now, some of these same photos are also in the second link as well, but
Well, that's just padding.
yeah. There were, however, some different ones in here too.
This one shows the team a bit more.
Mm-hmm.
Good to know that Ryan is going to be in this episode. We wouldn't have known that otherwise.
Oh, I'm pretty sure,
Although, now that I say that, I don't think I've seen any photos with Graham.
Mm-hmm.
He's standing behind the Doctor in
in
the
the
apple
bobbing.
bobbing scene. Yep.
Yep.
Oh,
But
that's interesting.
What's
Hmm.
that?
I noticed that there's a close-up of one of the photos in this listing, and the close-up of Ryan's chest shows that there's a little thing hanging off of his jacket. That reminds me a lot of the eye rings from Beastmaster.
hmm. Yeah, it looks like it's some kind of pin or something.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
But what the logo entails, I can't tell you.
Yeah, I can't
Right.
say for sure other than there's an eye centerpiece, and it's just like, oh, Been a while since I've seen something like that. Are these people going to be eaten by flying people?
I don't know. We don't know. With the recurring theme of the humans being the bad guys, so I think this might be
Well, in
another
a
one.
witch hunt, that's definitely not going to be hard to
Yeah,
find.
I'm pretty sure the theme is going to be intolerance,
Or something
and
to
the
that
mud
effect?
witches are going to be innocent people.
I am hoping this is a little bit more involved than the Legends of Tomorrow witch trial episode. I found that to be pretty popcorny.
We'll
Where
see.
they showed up, got out of it, and
The one a few weeks like Halloween this year.
oh no, I haven't seen it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just basically thinking of how I apply Legends of Tomorrow knowledge to stuff. The way they tend to be written is they get caught in it, they get accused, they get out of it, and what's her face, White Canary, winds up seducing some woman.
This season has the theme of them finding magical creatures of various sorts.
Magical creatures and where to find them.
And I won't spoil what one they find in Salem because it's the moment that you have to experience.
I will finish it as soon as I get to last season. Anyway, I guess we're done with the pictures if we've started talking about Legends of Tomorrow.
Yeah, I think. Did anybody else have anything on the second gallery?
No, not really. We discussed it enough.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we were toward the bottom of it anyway.
Find magical creatures.
Anyway.
All right. Yep.
Moving on to cast and crew news.
Yes. Jodie Whittaker gave an interview with Evening Standard recently, and the discussion went to the topic that recent Doctor Who episodes have taken spins on modern issues: racism, religious zealotry, giant corporations, and automation, billionaire businessmen, presidential candidates, and so on. What's the point of making a show if it doesn't reflect society today? Whittaker said. We have the opportunity with this show like no other to dip to future, to past, to present, to new worlds and time zones. There's never going to be a drought in the stories you can tell. It's always topical. Chris is a very present-minded person who is very aware of the world he lives in and is passionate about storytelling. It would be wrong of him not to have used the past. He does it in a really beautiful way.
All I gotta say is whenever I see people complaining about that stuff being in Doctor Who, I just think they would have hated the show in the 70s.
I know.
Right?
I know. Well, the thing is, though, at least the 70s veiled it, veiled it a bit more. Both the 70s and 80s were topical.
Mhm.
Do
But
you remember the women's lib episodes?
Yeah, I was thinking.
Sarah Jane giving a pep talk to the Queen.
I was thinking more along the giving a pep talk to the Queen. When did that happen?
The second Peloton episode.
Okay.
Sorry,
Oh.
I didn't specify which Queen.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you didn't specify
didn't
which queen.
come
I'm like, what?
Yeah, I'm like, when did Sarah Jane meet Queen Liz? Didn't happen. Okay. No, also later 70s under Tom Baker and stuff, there was a lot of social commentary hidden under a veneer of sci-fi, but it was a lot more subtle than the modern stuff was. Episodes like Underworld, The Sunmakers.
Yeah, I
like
think the
that.
Tom Baker writers were a bit more subtle than the John Pertwee writers.
Yeah, the Pertwee writers could occasionally be a little bit malady with their.
And then of course you get to the
Ideas.
80s and you got like oh god, what's the episode?
Happiness Patrol?
The Happiness Patrol. The Happiness Patrol, Paradise Towers. Yeah. All of it on social commentary with a veneer of sci-fi on it. So Doctor Who's always been topical.
Yep.
Yes.
It's always had the little stretches of topical, yeah.
I think though the difference is that those were odd off episodes. You know, you would get entertainment episodes and then like maybe 1 to 2 social commentary episodes a season. Whereas Chibnall has just been hitting us with the social commentary bomb. Every episode seems to have some form of social commentary in it. That might be the difference.
Yeah, and that might be what makes it feel a little bit more on the nose at this point, too.
Anyway, moving on forward to the last bit of news we have, which is the Big Finish news.
Yes, and we've got quite a big finish to our news. The Seventh Doctor, by which I mean there's a lot of Big Finish stuff. The Seventh Doctor teams up with novel companions Chris and Roz in The Seventh Doctor: The New Adventures, a new collection of audio dramas based on the Virgin novel series. 4 new adventures are in the set: The Trial of a Time Machine by Andy Lane, Vanguard by Steve Jordan, The Jabari Countdown by Ellen Flanagan, The Dread of Night by Tim Foley. The Seventh Doctor: The New Adventures is available now from BigFinish.com for £23 CD, 20 download. Also out today is the latest Unit series, Revisitation, which brings Unit up against some classic Who baddie. In this set is Hosts of the Wern, Parts 1 and 2 by Chris Chapman, Breach of Trust by David K. Barnes, and Open the Box by Roy Gill. That is also 23 CD, 20 download.
By the way, really quick, I would like to note that it seemed kind of amusing that the picture for the Seventh Doctor one, the robots look a lot like the modern Cylons from Battlestar Galactica.
Right, moving to coming soon. Next month, Big Finish celebrates 20 years of Bernie Summerfield with In Time, a short story anthology. A great many stories, too numerous to do our usual listing, are on the set, ranging from her early beginnings to her time in the Unbound universe and beyond. Bernie Summerfield In Time will be available in December in novel form for £12.99 ebook, $13.99 hardback, and in audio form as a digital audiobook read by Lisa Bowerman for £9.99, all from Big Finish. And Big Finish has announced that while we no longer have John Hurt to do Time War audios, the Time War will continue at Big Finish with Gallifrey the Time War. Lalla Ward resumes her role as Romanad Virundar, Sean Carlson as Coordinator Narvin, and introducing Terrence Hardiman as a newly resurrected and elected Lord President Rassilon. Oh, so that's neither of the two actors that we would have expected. Okay.
Well, there's a reason for that. First of all, they could have gotten what's his face? Timothy
Timothy Dalton.
Timothy Dalton, and that would have worked. The only other actor they could have gotten was the one that played him in the in the 12th Doctor era, and that would have been a continuity oopsie.
Well, no, the one that played him in the Eighth Doctor era, I think, would still have worked kind of within the story.
New resurrection, new body, probably.
Yeah, I was going to say resurrected doesn't necessarily mean regenerated, but it could as well. So that's probably what they're going for. Gallifrey Time War Volumes 2, 3, and 4 are all available for pre-order now, with March 2019, February 2020, and February 21 releases respectively. Once again, £23 CD, 20 downloads. So they're doing one a year for that.
That seems to be their magic number now.
For box sets, anyway.
23, 20, yeah. Anyway, that's all the news from Big Finish. There is been a bizarre rumor floating around, and I spent a good chunk of today trying to track down this, and it's a big bag of confusion. First of all, the rumor came out that season 12 would not be airing until March 2020 instead of 2019. This was a rumor. There's been no source cited, nothing like that. Then another tabloid media came out and said, nope, we have it on hand direct from BBC Entertainment that it will appear fall to 2019 as you would plan. However, they also didn't cite sources other than a source in BBC Entertainment, and then went on to make some really strange claims. Things saying that Chris Chibnall's not happy, not being able to work outside, or he doesn't like working outside his production house, so he's planning on leaving after season 12, and Jodie Whittaker's going with him, and all of this. But again, there's no source, and this was Starburst magazine.
And that contradicts some of what we've heard in the past, that he had a specific plan and planned to stick around for a while.
Yes. So at the moment, write all of this up as rumors. All of it. This is the reason it didn't get posted as news, is because it's basically people talking out their ass right now. The BBC officially has said nothing one way or another, and if it would be coming out, it wouldn't be coming out from BBC Entertainment. It would be an announcement from BBC One or BBC Wales. Possibly BBC Worldwide and BBC America, but I would doubt it wouldn't come, that it would...
that would come from those first, yeah.
Yeah. The only reason I put those in is that they're co-producers, so... But no, that you would probably hear it from BBC One or BBC Wales first. No other division of BBC. All right. Well, half an hour in, and we're already doing well. Is there anything else anyone needs to talk about?
Thomas saw a movie, but actually he might have given his thoughts on that last. Yeah, he did.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything worth talking about. I caught up on a show that was airing over the summer, so don't really have anything.
Yeah, I'm watching some really old TV. I'm just watching it to make sure I've actually seen all the episodes. Who here remembers Babylon 5?
I've always frequently heard about it, but I've never actually watched it.
I've been sat down and watched it. I'm in the 5th season now. The sucky season, but it's kind of, just a matter of, actually knowing it. I would watch it sporadically when it was on, and then never really paid attention since. It's one of those things there, it hasn't aged well. The writing is fine, but you look at these special effects, which were low budget for the 90s, And then, of course, we've gone through digital upsizing a couple of times.
I prefer special effects that haven't aged well over writing that hasn't aged
Well,
well.
no.
True.
Normally special effects that haven't aged well don't bother me, but these were early '90s CGI effects that haven't aged
Oh, I
well.
see what you're saying.
And we've gone through 2 decades of digital upsizing and restreaming.
So it looks like the Seventh Doctor opening.
Um, Worse. Because at least in the first season, it got a little better later on. But some of like these shots of like ships and stuff going to Babylon 5 and stuff actually looked real stop and go-y. Like low frame rate stop and go-y. Just because I think the digital upsizing did not do it any justice. If they come out with a video re-release, they need to resample, I think, those CGI effects.
On a
You know,
funny,
like they,
on a
like they,
funny note, while I was gone this weekend, one of my cousins actually talked something nerdy for a change. He actually asked when is Stargate going to start doing more shows again. To which I stated, to which one my some of my other cousins were like, "Oh yeah, we would love some more," and I'm like, I'm the odd one out here. I never really got the time or the patience to watch the Stargate shows. I was more, and they're like, "Why not?" I'm like, I was more interested in Farscape, and they're like, "We could use that too."
well, yeah, especially since the two became intermingled when Farscape went down and
Most of the cast got involved in that spin-off of Stargate one. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
Stargate Atlantis was it?
No, they were involved in the later seasons of SG-1.
Well,
Because
I guess they got
Harry Dean
involved in that too.
Anderson,
But,
Harry Dean Anderson, stopped being a regular. He went to guest star status and would show up maybe 2-3 episodes a season. So they got Ben Browder to play the new head of the team. And then what's her face that played the main female on Farscape got involved too as a specialist. So they would make little like nod of the head jokes to Farscape a little bit, but still. No, that's mostly what I've been watching. Aaron and I decided to catch up with South Park earlier this week, and it's still South Park.
apparently, there's supposed to be a Mr. Science Theater special that's not the usual thing for this for Thanksgiving Day this year. I forget what's all going on.
Tomorrow they're having the Gauntlet, and that is they're basically Netflix is dumping 6 new episodes at once, but they're under the pretext that Jonah and the bots have to watch them in a row.
Oh. Okay, that's what's going on. Because I'm completely baffled as to what's supposed to be going on here.
Yeah, they're I sent you a trailer.
Yes,
for
but
it.
they didn't explain themselves. They're just shouting Gauntlet and freaking out and showing random cuts, and it's like, okay.
Maybe they're playing the video game Gauntlet.
Yeah, it's
Red Warrior needs food badly.
Yeah, it's 5 new episodes, and it's like a few of the episodes. There's a few of the shows they're showing are horrible B-movie makes, like Atlantic Rim. I'm like, oh God, help us all.
I remember one of the movies on the list was either a prequel or sequel to another popular episode they had done. I can't remember which one it was now.
Probably Ator the Fighting Eagle.
Ator, that's it. Yeah, because they did the second Ator movie when it was known as Cave Dwellers in their re-release.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, let's see. The lineup that is there, and this is apparently their entire 12th season, unless they're planning on moving later. But it's being presented as the Gauntlet. And they're being forced to watch it all back to back. The first movie that they're showing is Mac and Me from 1988.
Mm-hmm.
Followed by Atlantic Rim. Followed by Lords of the Deep. The Day Time Ended. Killer Fish, and then Ator the Fighting Eagle. So, yeah.
So Ator's their big finale?
Yep. So that's probably what Aaron and I are going to be doing tomorrow. As we're waiting for the turkey to cook. And provided I don't want to watch any football, which, judging by the way things are going in football, I probably don't.
All right. So I guess that takes us to a stopwatch.
Yeah, and I think I should probably do the episode review because I think, or the summary, because I think I haven't done it in a while.
Sure.
Sure. All right. Ready when you are.
Okay. Go ahead.
3, 2, 1.
Okay, so the episode starts with the Doctor and crew in the TARDIS fleeing from some kind of weird energy. That's giving them a lot of turbulence. Eventually, the Doctor identifies it as a teleport pulse and lets it into the TARDIS, where it teleports in as a robotic delivery guy. The Doctor gets all excited because it's from Kerblam, who's basically that galaxy's version of Amazon. She gets the box, the bot ports away, and she opens it up to find a fez, which she must have ordered several hundred years ago, which really says something about the reliability of this particular company. Also in there is, of course, the shipping label, which somebody notices has the back on it, "Help me," in weird printer-smeared writing. Well, the Doctor realizes somebody at Kerblam headquarters is basically looking for help, so she sets the TARDIS, and off they go. The TARDIS arrives on, what was it, the moon of Kandoka?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Where, which is basically the entire office of Kerblam. The entire moon is the office. They wonder for a moment how to get in till the Doctor realizes that they should probably go in as new hires. They do that. They uses the psychic paper and the sonic screwdriver to get past the head of HR, and they're quickly assigned to their robot bosses. They all get these little things that look like the at-home prison collars or anklets on their feet, and apparently that's for them to track them and by color coordination what division they're going to. Well, of course, the Doctor needs to get to where they're doing the labeling, so swaps with Ryan, and they go off on their way. As they go on, Ryan and the Dr. Yaz, actually Dr. Yaz, Ryan, and
Graham.
No, it's just Dr. Yaz and Ryan, because Graham gets assigned to janitorial services.
Yeah, Graham is the one the Doctor switched with, because she ends up in the same with Ryan.
Mm-hmm. They meet, what was her name? Was it Kira?
Yeah.
Yeah, Kira, who is working. Actually, it's the Doctor and Ryan, because Yaz gets assigned elsewhere.
Mm-hmm.
And she gets
wonder why you were doing all
I'm
those
trying
names.
to remember. I don't have this written down. The Doctor and Ryan gets assigned to where they basically pack and wrap the boxes, and they meet Kira, who is a cheerful person with an upbeat version of life. Yaz gets assigned to the warehouse, and he meets Dan, who is such a good employee that that his face is up on a poster. However, they're chatting about life, and Dan mentioning the fact that he has a kid back on the planet that he barely sees, and trying to make up for being a shit father, attracts the annoyance of one of the bots, who keeps telling them that they need to stop socializing and gets to work. Shortly thereafter, Yaz is assigned to pick up a package in section 999, which makes Dan worried. He takes it from her and goes out to do that, where he promptly vanishes. After this happens, they all meet, I guess, for lunch. After, of course, Graham meets, what was his name? Charlie, another maintenance tech who seems to be a okay guy at first. They talk, they try to sync up, they keep undercover. They assign Graham to get a copy of the floor plans, while the doctor and the others wind up basically meeting the boss, the head, and having a wonderful conversation about if anybody needs help. Later on, they sneak back into the boss's office, who I think that was Jarva, was it? Jarva Slade?
Something like that.
Slade, yeah, it was Mr. Slade. Mr. Slade's office, where they're caught, but not until they find out that Mr. Slade has basically printouts of all the missing people and their IDs. They find this to be very suspicious, and they go off to try to investigate. The thing is, um, they do this with the help of Charlie, but while that's going on, Kira, uh, basically the bots suddenly treat her very well, tell her she's the employee of the day, and say they have a package for her. And they take her away, and she apparently disappears in dispatch. The thing is, no one can get to dispatch because it is down in the foundations of the building, part of the really old portion, and it's completely automated. This does not stop Charlie, Yaz, and Ryan from going down via the delivery chutes. The doctor, meanwhile, goes on a roundabout with the owners and everything, and they realize that they have. They meet up with Graham and discover, everything leads to dispatch. They steal a bot head, which was the original delivery bot, who basically they try to hack the system with and discover that that's the computer asking for help and that they need help in dispatch. The doctor then takes one of the delivery bots and hacks its teleporter and teleports themselves down to dispatch, where they all meet up. Ryan and Yaz have discovered basically people soup. Apparently, the abducted people are being turned into goo. Also, the fact that Charlie and the others eventually discover Kira opening a package, and just as she snaps a little bit of the bubble wrap, which was the only thing in the package, it roughly explodes in the room, basically killing her. Charlie is, of course, heartbroken because he had a crush on Kira, but that doesn't matter because it turns out Charlie's behind the whole thing. He has an army of delivery bots ready to deliver packages with explosive bubble wrap all across the galaxy, causing horrific amount of deaths. But the doctor's not going to have that. She hacks the robots using the original head, has them deliver the package to themselves and have them open it and snap the wrap. They try to give Charlie a chance to come with, but he refuses. They teleport out, and Charlie dies in a ball of gassy fire. A little disheartened, they get back in the TARDIS, and Yaz wants to give Dan's pendant that's made by his daughter back to her and tell her what's happened. The end.
Okay, that was 7 minutes, 41 seconds.
Yeah, I know. I got a little lost because suddenly names just disappeared from my head.
Yeah, you started scrambling them,
That always
and you
happens.
still scrambled them afterwards a bit.
No, I was starting to procrastinate so I could look up the names really quickly.
Well,
Because
still...
I had them in my head and then they vanished like the second you said go.
Because you said that Ryan and others found the goo, and that was the doctor and Graham.
Somebody said that by that point they were all together, so either way.
They came together shortly after that. Not at that point, though. But anyway.
Anyway, so what we liked about the episode, we will deal with Thomas's thoughts first. His favorite part was the explosive bubble wrap. He thought that was the most Doctor Who things ever, taking something mundane and making it scary dangerous. All right, so that's his thought. Matt, how about you?
Maybe not scary, but definitely dangerous. I just trying to decide on just one thing. I like the fact that they developed the company Kerblam really well. It just sounds like a silly name, but as you continue to delve through the mystery, you actually find layers upon layers, and you're just carving them slowly away, finding floor plans, finding original old automated bots, finding those parts that are so buried deep inside the foundations of the building that you can't actually physically get there anymore without teleportation. It was
All
kind of an
right.
interesting build up to reach the end.
All right. Bill, how about you?
I kind of like the way they did with dealt with the red herring and subverting expectations. Everything kind
Yeah.
of sets you up in a believable way toward one conclusion, but it's also believable when that's not actually the correct culprit.
Yeah, because I'm sitting here going, oh god, it's going to be Mr. Slade.
Even last week we thought it was him when we were looking at the photos.
Mm-hmm. Well, they set him up to be that type, and it turned out he wasn't.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah,
mean,
he was just he
he's
was
even a
kind of
bit.
a dick, but not
Yeah.
that much, not as much as we thought.
Yep.
But he's like more a dick of necessity to for a survivor because he doesn't know who to
All
be
right.
friendly to.
Tim, how about you?
Oh, I just love Jodie Whittaker's face in this episode. Her expressions from one scene to the next were spectacular. Like, not, like her acting in general was really good, but like especially her face, when she gets the package, and then when she's told she can't climb on the conveyor belt, to just the subtle things, like when she gives that warning, "You better not be lying to me" thing,
Mm-hmm.
Good performance by Jodie.
Okay. So I have two things. The first thing I liked is the robots because they did their best to make them extra creepy. And they needed to be for this episode, and it worked. Also, talking about subverting things, if I did not know there were no original enemies from previous seasons in this season, I would have sworn to high heaven going into shortly into this that it was a Cyberman episode.
Yeah, this would have been a perfect Cyberman episode.
People missing weird power drops.
Robots doing weird things.
It screamed Cybermen. I'm like,
hell, even the 90% automated thing.
mm-hmm. It just set itself up like it was going to be a Cybermen episode, but you knew it couldn't be, so it just ate at you. All right, so what we disliked about the episode. Again, we're going with Thomas first, and he thought, in his opinion, the reveal of Kerblam's interface itself being what called for the Doctor's help kind of required the Doctor to be a bit stupid for most of the episode to work. I don't really agree.
No, I don't agree because there seems to be an intelligent algorithm that people weren't aware of in there.
Yeah, since it seems like that would be a conclusion someone like the Doctor should come to a lot earlier. Doctor looking stupid for plot twist work is always kind of boring. No, there was a big freaking red herring in Slade there.
Mm.
And Slade and a couple of the other higher ups, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Mind you, I would have loved to hear the Doctor say, basically what I just said a minute ago. I would love to have her thinking, "Oh my God, you've got Cybermen in your basement,"
Right.
and then completely discovering she's wrong, because that would be her working on previous experience.
Yeah.
It would have been great to make that reference, and I kind of wish they would have. All
Which
right.
is also funny considering that the bitch comments on Facebook are accusing them of doing nothing but call back to previous episodes. Yet they haven't mentioned the Cybermen, Daleks, or Satarans once.
They've mentioned a couple of minor things. I mean, but they're shout-outs more than full-on callbacks.
Mm-hmm.
Like the fact that the box was a fez.
Box was a fez, pulling out the second paper and actually having it work this time.
Mm-hmm. She apparently must have had it recharged. Anyway. Matt, what about you? What did you dislike about the episode?
What did I dislike about the episode? Um, I don't think there's anything major, but there's like little inconsistencies, I think. Like, why did the other people get kidnapped and turned into goo?
Oh no, that was stated. He was testing the bubble wraps.
Oh, that's
Usability.
right. So that explains that. But then there was the kidnapping, but you leave a necklace behind and a smashed device. That seems to be a little bit odd. And where'd the body go? Because they couldn't have grabbed the guy more than 5 seconds ago. Then again,
Yeah,
I guess the robots teleport too, so that's
yeah.
probably part of
They
it.
teleport is where the body
Although
goes. But why would?
was that were they trying to was that part of their whole thing about trying to get discovered? Like that he made them do that and then they left the evidence as a result?
That could be, but I don't know if that was them or I think though that was
Or could have
Ax-
been, yeah, it could have been him screwing up. I don't know.
yeah, that was never fully explained. So that's an issue.
Yeah, there's little things like that. It's like this could have used a little more clarifying.
I think that was Charlie because he wound up in the soup.
Yeah, he did end up eventually in the soup, but that doesn't explain why he left all that evidence behind when the others seem to disappear without trace.
Yes, correct. Okay, Bill, how about you?
So mine is I don't know if this is more of a scene or an overall thing, but I just could not. It kind of affected the whole episode, so I'll count it. I just the the episode starts off with they're scanned to determine what the best department for them to be in, and it ends up the doctor who you would think would be assigned to R&D or data analysis or management gets assigned to be the janitor.
Did she switch with Graham or did she switch with
She
yeah?
switched
she-
with Graham.
With Graham.
She switched with Graham, yeah, because she wanted to, yeah, because Graham and Ryan were going to be in the
The purple room.
yeah, exactly. But even still, like, even if even if it were any of the other positions, if they're actually scanning people for their best capabilities, any other story would have had somebody like assigning the doctor to be an executive.
You know, she might have played it down, but even so.
Mm-hmm. Like she couldn't hide the two hearts, so I imagine she couldn't hide her brain.
Yeah.
Hmm.
That doesn't really make sense. Tim.
Okay, I sort of thought it was a questionable thing for the system, like the AI, to target Kira. Kira, like they said, oh, they targeted Kira to like show Charlie the error of his ways.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's like it's set up that you're supposed to feel sympathy for the AI that's been duped, but here is the AI just sacrificing someone to make a point. So that's
Yes.
kind of
Yeah.
Yeah, that
the most
actually
innocent
that
person in
that
the
was
company.
actually what bothered me the most as well. Although not so much that the AI did it, the lack of the response by the doctor to it.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, I got an even better one I just realized. If the AI could do that to Kira, why didn't the AI just grab the guy and haul him off to a room and just pop the bubble for him?
Because he was expecting it.
Yeah, he probably had some defenses hacked into the system so that it couldn't affect him directly.
I don't know. The AI seems smart enough to do everything else.
If he's managed to hack the system enough that he's hijacked the delivery bots, then he probably has put some safeguards in place.
Hmm. Maybe,
But
but it
no.
still seems a bit fishy to me that they wouldn't try to do something else still, like hack it back. I don't
Well,
know.
that's the thing. Remember, this guy was a computer and cybernetics expert.
Oh,
was
that's right.
disguised-
Apparently, yeah, that's what he shouted at them later. Yeah.
Yeah, that had gone undercover as the janitor in order to pull off this grand ass scheme of stupidity. But yeah, my issue was with Tim was the fact that here the computer just committed cold-blooded murder to prove its point, and the doctor's not upset by it. Because, normally this, if you look at any other doctor, think of how Tennant would react to that.
Yeah.
He would be pissed. Smith would be pissed. Capaldi would be upset, at least annoyed.
Mm-hmm.
But the doctor's just like, well, it's just trying to prove a point and just lets it get away with murder. Yeah, that bothers the fuck out of me.
Actually, I think almost all the modern doctors suffer a moment of letting something like that lapse once in a blue moon.
Yeah, and I will call them out on it when it happens.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it needs to be called out more often that's not the way the doctor should be acting.
Yep. For the doctor, all life is sacred. So the fact that it just killed somebody to make its point would have pissed off the doctor.
Mm-hmm.
Would piss off the doctor enough almost to maybe try to do something back to the AI herself. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
should have been.
Shut it down. Shut it all down. That should have been the response, was shut it all down. He's killing.
He's
AI
gonna
is
kill.
killing.
The AI is already killing. No, both of you need to stop. Boom.
Yep. The way to end it would have been to shut the entire process down completely.
Find a way to EMF the main system. Yeah.
All right. Favorite scene. Thomas's is when Yaz asks the doctor if they could give Dan's necklace back to his daughter and tell her what happened. Given the fact that characters who are killed off are usually forgotten about by the end of the episode, it's nice to have Dan's death acknowledged in that way. Yeah, but it'll be forgotten by next episode because that's what happens.
That's what happens to red shirts and one-off episodes.
Yep. Matt, favorite scene?
Favorite scene. Which one to go with? I think I'll go with I quite liked some of the comments in the when they were getting scanned. In particular, the question of two hearts. I don't like mentioning it, but yeah, some of us are well taken care of. Apparently, the second heart was supposed to be like a backup system or something, just in case.
Mm-hmm. All right. I'll remember that. Bill?
I'm still iffy on this scene in terms of whether it's really that good, but the one that stands out to me when I try to think of a best scene is the one where the head of people is just like so affronted by the idea that she could that the doctor thinks of her as a suspect, and she gives all these reasons about why she's passionate for her job and everything.
Bit unrealistic to me, but name me an HR director that is passionate.
Again, this is the show turning things like that on its head. So
I know.
It's a good question because that's what you're supposed to think of HR as.
Mm-hmm.
But then when you get down to it, HR does tend to be more about protecting the company from lawsuits than anything else.
Correct.
But probably starting HR directors, like fresh out of business school, would have that mentality.
Maybe. Anyway, Tim, your favorite scene?
Oh, I just love the delivery slide scene.
Ah.
The wee
Mm-hmm.
of it all. That's awesome.
All right. As for me, I think I like it when the doctor dresses down Mr. Slade for being rude to Kira.
Yeah.
It just seemed to be a moment of that one was a real doctory moment, and I liked it.
The interesting thing about that scene is it's the only scene early on that gives a hint that Slade is not actually the villain, because the fact that he just backs down and walks away, like he doesn't know what else to say.
Doesn't just like outright spacely them.
Right.
Yeah. Oh, as an
Uh,
extra bonus, by the way, we're done with favorites, right?
Favorite scenes, yeah.
As an extra bonus, the callback to Voodoo Shinikido again.
Yes, I did like the fact that that got reused.
It's like, yes, there's our Chekhov's gun.
Okay, so least favorite scenes. And Tim, you're gonna hate Thomas's because his least favorite scene was the conveyor belt scene.
Oh man.
He said, the
Don't be
conveyor belt,
hating
not the
on
slide.
belts.
Ultimately, seemed like you could have had them go down the initial slide and then cut away to something else and then cut back when they're almost through. Using it as an action set piece seemed a bit pointless and was time they could have used for other things.
Yeah,
Though he
so it's
did
the
get a
conveyor
huge
belt's not the
laugh out of
slide.
Charlie falling due to the high five.
But all the best action scenes are pointless.
Most that's kind of describes an action scene, really. I mean, think of
Depends
think of Star
upon what
Trek.
kind of show you're doing.
Think about Star Trek. Think about how much time's wasted with Kirk fighting something and getting his shirt ripped. All Bill, how about you? Your least favorite scene?
All right. So mine is I have such a sad backstory. I'm an orphan who never gets presents. Do you reckon I'll survive the episode? It's just so
Boom.
like stretching believability that you're just like, okay, this is the character who's entirely here to make you feel bad when she died.
Yeah, let's just try to make her the cheerful Wooby. And it didn't quite work.
Mm-hmm.
You almost expected her to spontaneously start breaking into song a la a musical.
The only way I would see her survive is if it actually turned out that she was the villain. Like, Charlie would be that type of character, but
Yeah.
mm-hmm.
Ooh, that'd be a bit of a twist if all of a sudden you see her lurking in the shadows at the end of the episode.
Yeah, but they didn't do it.
And maybe like half her face is blown off as cybernetic or something. Ooh,
cool.
that would have been more of an interesting twist. But anyway.
Okay, so who are we on for least favorite?
That was just me.
Okay, so Tim.
Yeah. I thought it was a bit much that the episode ended on a shot of the box with the bubble wrap right in the middle of the frame. You know, it was like, yeah, you know, that's very sledgehammery, guys. You know, it's like, but I don't know, it just didn't work for me.
Be afraid of the bubble wrap.
Yes.
All right, so my least favorite scene was the face heel turn by Charlie, because I just didn't buy it. I don't think the actor that played Charlie, I don't think he sold it well enough.
Yeah.
Okay.
I believe it story-wise, but character-wise, no,
Yeah,
he didn't feel right.
Story-wise, it makes sense, but I don't think the actor managed to pull off the exact, level of fanaticism required to do something.
Particularly if he was intended to be lying about his backstory, his character, like his mannerisms, never changed. He continued to act as that same kind of character.
Yeah, I think the actor that did Charlie is Leo Flanagan, and he doesn't have a wiki entry, so I can't really see much about his previous acting career, but I think he might have been a bit of an amateur to pull off something. I think he's a bit too new.
Leo Flanagan, IMDb. I'm searching him up real quick.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, he's been working. Oh God, he's only been working for about 4 years.
Yeah, for like the last 4 years. So
he was a regular on the series Waterloo Road, but yeah, it looks like he's just been doing little bits and pieces elsewhere.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think he just had the acting chops, the experience to pull off that particular face heel turn because I just don't buy it.
Yeah, I think he needed more time, or they need someone to direct him a little more
A little
closely
more
on that.
coaching, yeah. Something like that. Some more coaching, some more direction, something.
Something,
But
yeah, something's just
when
slightly
he
missing.
reveals, he should have gotten harsher, more determined.
Mm-hmm.
And instead, he's still this kind of this wavery whoosh.
Yeah, instead he's just, I'm gonna blow up people and stuff.
Yeah, the way he
That's
was
gonna
acting.
make things go right, right?
Yeah, the way he was acting, the doctor should have been able to talk him down because he had no resolve in his voice.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it was. It was the actual
The lack of resolve, yeah.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, that was why I didn't buy it. Okay, so we are up to our final thoughts. Final thought for Thomas was, while he wouldn't say this is one of the worst episodes of the series so far, he wouldn't say it was one of the best either. Just somewhere in between. Don't know if he'd recommend it to people, but he wouldn't tell people to avoid it necessarily either. Jesus, I can't
English.
talk tonight. Overall, it's flawed in places, but still rather enjoyable. All right. Matt, your final thought.
Final thought, story ran really well. There's only like one acting qualm and maybe a little bit of plot holishness here and there, but they're all, as far as I'm concerned, minor things that don't last very long to take away from most of it. A lot of it's pretty good character moments and little throwbacks here or there, and a interesting mystery to tie it all together.
All right. Bill?
I think it was a pretty good episode. I think it hit most of the right notes to be effective emotionally. There were some things that bothered me that were have been kind of ongoing throughout the season, so we'll look back and see if they change by the end of the season. There was also a bit of a potential plot hole in that theoretically every level has 10% human, except Dispatch doesn't seem to have any humans whatsoever. So how does that work? Other than just, them fucking up.
Well, senior management was 100% human, so.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, but it has to be minimum 10% human.
In the whole facility.
Right.
Yeah.
And in every level, they said, not even just a whole, but in each particular level.
Yeah.
Such as janitorial work and putting shit in boxes. But I think it was a good episode in general. Yeah, I liked it. That's pretty much my final thought.
All right. Tim?
I really think this is the episode where Jodie Whittaker has mostly settled into who her doctor is going to be.
She's
in
done
terms.
cooking.
What?
She's done cooking.
Let's hope so, because there's only 3 episodes left this season, plus the special.
I mean,
yeah,
the 6th Doctor was still cooking by the end of his first season.
Yeah, and look how well that turned out for him.
Yeah. Just I think this is an important episode in that respect. I liked the plot twist of like the red herrings, and also like the twist of how it's like the AI is duped, but again that sort of like they sort of like fumbled at it like the 5-yard line. I am sort of disappointed in that it continues the trend of like preferring Ryan and Graham over Yaz.
Yeah, Yaz basically turns out to be well, she gets a few scenes of her own in here, but she doesn't really develop much in them.
Mm-hmm.
She's basically used as a tool to develop other people, if you think about it.
So I think this is a really good episode, if a bit uneven at times.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So,
all right. So in looking at this episode, I had to compare it to the other most recent future sci-fi episode, the Serenga Conundrum, which by thus far has been our worst episode this season. And by my opinion, is still our worst episode this season because this one comes off better. Mind you, it still isn't up to some of the better episodes this season. In fact, I think it's more a little bit on the mid-level. It's a little more coherent than Sarangra. It has a better written plot, but I think the acting in this one is a bit less good, because I think that there's a couple of people, in particular Charlie, who needed to be coached a little more to get to their roles. A lot of the other characters like Dan, Mr. Slade, and everybody seem to do a decent par for the Doctor Who course job, but I didn't see anybody stand out spectacularly. So all in all, it's watchable, but it'll not be memorable. All right, let's go to ratings. Thomas, for everything he said about it, still gave it a 4.0. So I'm putting him down now. All right, Matt.
Tails 3.5 to Heads 4.0 because I'm like really borderline on it right now. And 3.5.
Bill.
I think I'm coming down on the 4.0.
Tim.
4.0.
4.0. Where do I want to put it? I gave the Saranga a 3, and it's definitely above a 3. It's not as good as Ghost Monument, that's for sure. So it's either going to be a 3.5 or a 4. I gave Demons of the Punjab a 3.5. Yeah, I'll give it a 4. And that, with no high scores, will actually give this a score lower than Demons of the Punjab. It will become our second lowest episode with a 3.9. Apparently, future sci-fi is something that this particular group needs to work on.
Needs a bit of polish, yeah.
Or they don't consider it their priority, yeah.
Yeah, no, their priority is topical.
Mm-hmm. Well, future sci-fi is topical as well as, but
yeah, that's the problem though.
Not the way they're doing it. I don't think. I don't think they haven't really touched on any social issues in their sci-fi stuff.
So with 3.9, Kerblam will come in at number 129 out of 270 things reviewed. It's in the top half, but just barely. It is on par with Jago and Lightfoot Revival, Gardens of the Dead, The Chase, The Next Doctor, Blink, The Monster of Peladon, Into the Dalek, Warrior's Gate, Colony of Space, Brain of Morbius, Deadly Assassin, Knock and Knock Knock. It is better than Keeper of Traken, Boomtown, Ghostlight, Enemy of the World, Girl in the Fireplace, End of the World, Daleks Invasion Earth 2150, Day of the Daleks, Robot of Sherwood, The Time Monster, etc. And it is worse than A Good Man Goes to War, Attack of the Cybermen, The Runaway Bride, Vengeance on Veros, Heaven Sent, Terminus, The Invisible Enemy, Inferno, Castrovalva, Planet of the Spiders, etc. So there we go. 129 out of 270. That's it for Kerblam.
All right. So go ahead, comment below and leave your thoughts. And don't forget to like and subscribe on YouTube or follow us on twitch.tv/unearthlypodcast. And you can also follow us for news and updates on Facebook and Twitter.
All right. So next week, we go to 17th century England, I believe.
I think so.
Something like that.
To the time of King James, as we deal with the witch hunts that happened in England. It is the Witch Finders written by Joy Wilkinson. Name sounds familiar. Why does that name sound familiar? Anyway, and also starring Jodie Whittaker as the Doctor, Tosin Cole as Ryan Sinclair, Mandeep Gill as Yasmin Khan, and Bradley Walsh as Graham O'Brien. We're off to have our Thanksgivings with our families, so we will see you next week at the usual time.
See you all next time.
Yeah.